Might as well grab one I'm filling out. Many of you heard me say I like an introduction. These are referral slips. A lot of people will give you something like out of a phone book, or they've been up and down the street and they've seen something that needs your service, but they don't know anybody. That's a lead. An introduction or referral is I know somebody. Let's put their name down and give them a call. I know they could use your service. That's a referral. But an introduction is something where you actually introduce them to the other person. You talk to both parties, so the two of you need to actually get in touch with each other. And that's what I recommend people do with these slips. We fill them out. You can put out your name, the name of the referral person, contact them, tell them, hey, I got somebody else, let them know. They'll be calling you, and vice versa. And even if you can make the personal handshake introduction, that's even better. But I definitely recommend introductions and not leads. There's a difference. Give me a hand. If you need more referral slips, they're right here. So let's start a bucket in that corner. Drag or mark them. You guys already fill yours full of peanut shells? Yeah. Empty? We're full. You're full? Ladies, do you have an empty?
We're
Okay, we'll start it over here and then work our way this way. We'll keep it going around a couple times. I'll remind and ask where it is so it doesn't get stuck. So please fill out the referral slips. They're not required in this group, but it makes the group definitely more appealing. All right, Tabitha, are you introducing Tabitha?
Yes, he is.
Jesse's getting a lot of face time. I want to finish doing first. All right, we have Tabitha, the one and only. Guess what? She was born and conceived in Alaska. There's a rumor that it was an ugly green couch. Yeah. She's lived all over the states. She graduated from Clearfield High. She graduated from Weber State with her associates in art. Wow, she does embroidery. That works. She moved some more, and then she eventually ended back up this way. But she returned back in 2012 to Utah, and is now, as of 2014, has purchased the black spool from her mother. Actually, from both her mom and dad, but her mom is wonderful. Now, I know Tabitha on more personal level, and I want to let you all know, as far as the personal service that I have received from my embroidery and my uniforms and my guys, I give her probably the shortest notice. I'm not telling you all to do that, but I have, and she delivers. She's been fantastic. Her work is great. I can't recommend her enough. I can recommend her enough. I'm not doing it. But I would really like to give her a great shout out because I use her. I recommend you all use her. You got something that needs to be embroidered or silk screened, she's the person for it.
Thank you, Jesse.
Woo!
Alrighty, so like Jesse said, I'm Tabitha, and a little bit about me. I've moved all over the place now. I live in Clearfield. I have 3 kids. They're all boys. I have a 12-year-old who thinks he's a 17-year-old. He's hilarious and sarcastic and moody and everything you expect out of a 12-year-old. Loves football, so makes me a happy mom because I get to go out and watch football. I read fall, all fall. And then I have an 8-year-old. He is my outdoorsy kid who loves nature. Animals, bugs, all the disgusting things that moms normally don't love. But it's great for me because when there's spiders in the house, he rescues them and takes them outside. And it makes my life easier. And then I have a 3, almost 4-year-old. This is what he is all get up and do everything the 12 and 8-year-old can do. So I'm always on my toes hanging out with them every day. I have a fiance. I'm getting married in May. Our kids are actually a combination of previous relationships. We aren't having any children together, but he travels most of the time, so I tend to do all of the kids' stuff myself and lots of Skype and phone calls. Let's see. I had this big thing typed out, and then it didn't come through my email this morning for me to type it out. So now I'm typing it in. I do a lot of volunteering with stuff for my kids. I volunteer to coach Little League Baseball, and I volunteer for adult softball. I also volunteer at Antelope Elementary throughout the week for all sorts of various things there. Right now, I'm just focusing on kids that are behind on their grade level reading, getting them caught up. We are a sporty outdoors family. Baseball, football, hiking, kayaking, camping. If it's outside and not soccer, we love it. So I have been doing embroidery. It's a family business. I run it now, but it was started in 1999 in Clearfield by my parents. And back then I was still in high school, so I've been doing this pretty much my whole life. We started off with a single head machine, and now we have 6 embroidery heads, which means we can sew 6 things at a time. One of our machines sews 4 things at a time, and the other 2 can sew individual projects. So I have the ability to do some production runs, and then also the ability to do very personalized runs. I had a question on Facebook from somebody asked me, how do I help people pick the difference between embroidery and screen printing? And a lot of that has to do with, number 1, your logo, number 2, placement, number 3, your clothing. So for Jesse, let me use Jesse's example since he already said that I help him with his clothing. We do screen printing. He has a very labor-oriented job. His employees work hard, they sweat, they're outside, they get dirty, it is what it is. So we opted to go with t-shirts because they want to be cost effective and they're going to have to be replaced. If they're digging through bushes to get to windows, they might get snagged or get holes in and things like that. Whereas someone who works in an office might be just hanging out at the desk, doing a lot of emailing, they can wear a polo and something that is going to last them a lot longer. Typically for screen printing, it's something you're doing big. So the back of Jesse's shirts are screen printed. That way, when someone drives by his crew out working, you can see a huge logo on the back. You know, oh, hey, look, those guys all work for the same company. They're cleaning windows. I can make note of that and call later. For somebody sitting at a desk, it'd be silly to screen print something on the back of them because no one's ever going to see their back. So then we go with a logo on the front of the shirt. Scott was the one who asked me the question about that, and he knows the answer, but he was just trying to talk for a while. I've done screen printed stuff for Scott Snedden at DIY for t-shirts. He wanted something really low cost that would get his name out there and get people talking, and it works. But I also do a lot of embroidery for him. One thing I've done for Scott is patches, and I think a lot of people don't realize that we can embroider on patches. We have these specially made with the red border, so it looks like his logo. And he wears these on the back of his leathers for riding his bike. I do a lot of stuff for motorcycle clubs. That's another great referral for me. And for screen printing in particular, with embroidery, the color range is enormous. I have 2 different types of threads that I will use that it depends on what the project is, but there's tons and tons and tons of colors. So if you have a logo, I can find a color that's going to match the colors in yours. You can pick the right font. I have hundreds of fonts, hundreds of colors. That way I can make sure every job is personalized to the person that comes into my office. If someone has a logo already designed, we digitize in-house, which digitizing in the embroidery sense isn't the same as doing vector art. It is someone sitting at a computer and using a mouse to draw in every stitch for the design. So whenever you bring us, we sit down, we talk to you about how you want it to look, how big you want it, which colors you want, and we design, we sew it out, have you look at the sew out, write all over it, make tweaks, and then adjust it again. That way the finished project comes out looking how you pictured it in your head. So this could be a business logo that's already been done, or I had this guy come in years ago with a hand drawing, and we went based off of this little hand drawing for his fishing club, and picked all the colors, did it all in our house, and made it where the logo looked exactly the way he envisioned it from his penciled hand drawing that he brought into our shop. And with screen printing, we can do the same thing. I have 2 different processes for screen printing. One is like your traditional screen printing can go up to 6 colors. And those are colors that don't overlap. Run your shirt. Good example. So the colors don't overlap. They usually touch on a border, and then we have all the Pantone colors under the sun that we can match to that. We also have another process that's a 4-color process, but it can work with blending different colors together. And so it uses basically like little pixels and can blend the colors. So you can get a huge color range. And it's just a different process, but it's another way we can make sure people's pictures are coming out looking the way they have it in mind. I also have a question from Tony Lella, you guys know Tony that owns Bronzo, about promotional products. I have the ability to promote products. We used to do that in-house, which means we'd order in, say, a blank pen, and we'd print it right there in our shop. And what we realized was it smells horrible, it's extremely messy, it's a pain in the butt to clean up. And just like someone who sells real estate can belong to a special group called the Realtors, we have special groups within embroidery, screen printing, and promotional products. It makes it where I can get those products outsourced from a huge company. That's all they do. They specialize in it. They do everything perfect the first time, or at least as far as I know. They don't send me for things that are messed up. It saves us time, but it's the same money out the door to the customer. So I can order from 100 pins up to 10,000 pins. So no matter what range of business or group size, we can work with that. Some things I've done for promotional stuff lately. My bad. I do pens. These are the best pens. They have my logo on them. But this pen is the best writing pen I've ever found. We've done dozens and dozens of different types of pens just to find good ones, so we can always say, this one's really great, we tried that one, we put our logo on, we give them out. This is a great pen. We have water bottles for a local daycare that has summer program where the kids are outside. So we put their logo on them, left the spot so the kids could write their name right across the print, and then all the kids knew which water bottle was theirs. And then I can do other things. I say stuff you throw at kids from a parade. So frisbees, beach balls, anything promotional like that. Keychains are a big one. I've done pizza cutters for a restaurant. Coffee mugs, tumblers, all sorts of things like that. It's anything that we can do to help your business name get out there, whether it's handouts or just you walking through a store with your logo on your body, is what we aim to do. And we like to start right from the beginning, make sure everyone loves the product that walks out the door. Does anyone have questions? I kind of feel like I talk about what I do, but I know what it is, so.
Did you have a minimum order? You just do 2 or 3 sweatshirts, or you do have a minimum at 20?
For embroidery, I do not have a minimum. I do a lot of personalized stuff. I did this for someone. It's actually underneath here. I have a picture of this guy's car, and we digitized it. Just did this for him. We put on a jacket back for him and his dad. For screen printing, it depends on which process we're using. Typically, the minimum is 6, and that's just because screen printing is very labor intensive to set up, and the job needs to run longer than the amount of time it takes for us to set it up. For promotional products, the minimums depend on the item you're getting. So you can order less coffee mugs, but pens come in at least 150. So that depends on the product.
Since I came in late, I'm sorry if I missed part of this, but besides clients that could use your products, what are the other companies that you like to work with that can also feed you more clients? What are complementary businesses to yours?
For me, I think any variety of business actually works okay for me. Because I'm trying to think of examples. Justin sent people to me just because he's out seeing people. And if anyone who interacts with other businesses makes a great referral for me. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that, because my kids' daycare, they send me like 5 people a week just from different parents. So it's kind of one of those things, if everyone knows someone who needs my service, it's just whether or not they know they need the service. Does that make sense? Okay.
Dog collars or leashes?
So I have embroidered on dog collars and leashes, or I can do vinyl. Vinyl is really similar to screen printing, but it's actually a little longer lasting, which is good for dog collars and leashes because they get banged up and chewed on and dogs. So yeah, that's definitely something I've done before. For things that I don't do, I don't sew on leather typically. Leather works like when you embroider on leather, it works as a hole punch. Every hole is pretty much creating a pattern, and it can actually create a pattern to be punched out of leather. I also don't sew on socks or anything that's super elastic or spandex. When we embroider, we have to hoop things very tightly so that the stitches all run in the same pattern, and it has elastic. When you unhook it, it bunches up and doesn't look very good. So, aside from that, I can sew on almost anything.
Do you do promotional items?
What about the promotional?
Do you do promotional items like pads?
I do, yes. And Roger says that's one more question.
Is that what she just finished?
That is the last question. So, oh, look. I forgot that I have that
And
one.
then if somebody wants, like, for a team, how long in advance do you need to know?
The closer we get into, right now I'm about a week out. For new stuff, I'll say about a week and a half, just so we can make sure we have the art exactly the way people like it. As we get closer to softball, baseball, soccer season, it can go up to 2 weeks out. I just hired someone, so her second week working right now, so things are actually turning over much faster because I'm not having to run machines, plus answer emails, plus all the other stuff that I have to do. So I'm hoping to make sure things get out much, much faster now that I have someone who's working for me. Awesome, thank you guys.